Today on Sports Central, I'll be giving you guys my updated college football playoff predictions for Week 8 of this 2021 college football season. And looking back at Week 7, once again, another insane week. We saw Iowa lose to Purdue. That was the big upset of the week. Who would have seen that coming? Purdue knocked off Iowa 24-7 on Saturday afternoon. And for Iowa, it's going to be much tougher for them now to get into the college football playoff. But that being said, I'll be giving you guys my predictions here today. And quite honestly, this is a very fluid college football playoff because, you can predict 4 teams right now, and they could be totally different by the time we get to December, considering how many upsets we've seen so far in this 2021 season. But with that, let's get into it for Week 8. Georgia remains number 1. No surprise there. This Georgia football team, I don't see them getting beat by anyone. I wouldn't be surprised a single bit if they ran the table and won the national title. They've got so much talent on that football team, and defensively, they got one of the best defenses I've ever seen. And they've blown out Kentucky, blown out Arkansas in the past few weeks. It's going to be tough to beat this team down the stretch. So they're the clear number 1 for me. But after that, it gets tougher. Oklahoma's number 2 for me right now, but it easily could be Cincinnati or Ohio State. I think Oklahoma ends up winning the Big 12. They go undefeated, and Caleb Williams is a big reason why that's going to happen. With Spencer Rattler, I wasn't quite sure whether Oklahoma could win out the rest of the season, but I think Oklahoma can now. Caleb Williams brings a whole new energy to this football team, and the Sooners looked great against TCU this past weekend. So Oklahoma, I'm expecting them to be number 2 after winning the Big 12, but that could easily be switched with Ohio State. Main reason why I got Oklahoma at number 2 is I expect them to be undefeated. Even if they take one loss, I think at this point in the season, it's going to be very tough for them to crack the top 4. We'll have to see what happens there. But for Ohio State, they do have one loss, so that's the main reason, once again, why I got them slightly below Oklahoma State. But I expect them to win the Big 10. They'll probably go up against Iowa, I'd assume, in the Big 10 championship game, and I think Ohio State pulls out the win in the end, so they'll get into number 3. Cincinnati's my number 4. Cincinnati could get into 2 or 3, but I think, for the Bearcats, they'll probably, they have to win out if they're going to win or get into the top 4. So that's a given for them. But I just don't expect them to be ahead of Ohio State or Oklahoma, especially if we have an undefeated Oklahoma Big 12 champion or Ohio State winning a very tough Big 10 conference. So Cincinnati, I think, will be at number 4, and we'll see a rematch of last year's bowl game between Georgia and Cincinnati in the college football playoff, and Oklahoma will play Ohio State in the 2 versus 3 games. So I don't have anything insane happening here in the top 4 for Week 8. I don't have any unexpected teams. I think, this is, I think as realistic as it gets, quite honestly, right now. But for Alabama, I've got them at number 5. They'll probably play Georgia, I'd assume, in the SEC championship game, and I think Georgia ends up winning that game. And Alabama, a 2-loss Alabama team, I don't think will get into the college football playoff. If they beat Georgia, they should be number 1, probably. I would assume, and Georgia probably would still get into the college football playoff. So, quite honestly, as long as Georgia doesn't take a bad loss in the regular season, they should be in the college football playoff without a doubt. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But Michigan, I've got them at number 6. That may be the one big surprise of this top 6 here. I think Michigan will be a 1-loss team heading into bowl season. I think they're going to finish out as 2nd in the Big 10 East. That Ohio State-Michigan game will more than likely be the Big 10 East championship game in late November, and I think Ohio State ends up winning the game. That's how they get to the Big 10 championship. But Michigan wins that game. Michigan could be in the college football playoff. This could be the Wolverines' year, I'm telling you. The chances are low, considering, most of Jim Harbaugh's teams haven't been able to finish out the year and get to the college football playoff. But Michigan's going to get close, and I think Iowa's going to finish out at number 7 after losing the Big 10 championship game, because that will bring Iowa to 2 losses. And so they'll be out of the top 6, but Michigan will take number 6 with a 1-loss record. So that being said, the wraps it up for today. Let me know your thoughts and your college football playoff predictions for Week 8. Obviously, it changes every week just because of how many upsets we've seen. And it's pretty insane how many upsets we've seen so far this season. So, and I expect it to only get crazier. Once we get into November, more and more insane upsets will happen, I can guarantee you. So that being said, appreciate you guys all watching as always. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. See you guys later.